Hey guys. Okay, so today we are doing function composition. So first we need to review function notation. This is an Algebra 1 concept. So function notation is when we have an equation written in this form. We say this is f of x equals 3x plus 1. So f of x is just the name that we're giving our function. It's a name. So we're saying that the rule 3x plus 1 is called f of x, okay? This is not multiplication. This is not f times x. This is just a name we're giving the function. So when we are dealing with this, then our x value is our input, as you can see here. It's our input. And then once we process the x through our equation, then that's going to give us an output. So let's look at an example. We're going to go ahead and use this equation that we have above here. F of x equals 3x plus 1. And for example 1, we're going to do f of 3. So what this means is x is my input, so that means 3 is my input. Everywhere I have x in my function f of x, instead of writing x, I'm going to write 3. So I'm going to have 3 times 3 plus 1. Well, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So my input here is 3, and my output is 10. Back in Algebra 1, if you had Miss Pardo, you watched a function machine video where they put chickens into the machine and there was like a bunch of chopping sounds and then you got chicken nuggets out. So this is what we're doing. Our chicken nugget here is our chicken is 3 and our chicken nugget is 10. We're putting 3 into the machine, we're processing it, and we're doing the math, and then we're getting 10 out. So number 2, f of 5 is 3 times 5 plus 1. Instead of writing x, I'm going to write 5 because that's my input. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Okay? So my input here, my chicken going in is 5. My output, my chicken nugget coming out is 16. So the machine itself is this part. This is our machine. This is what the work we're doing, the math we're going to do. Okay? So now this is new. Function composition is an Algebra 2 concept. So you haven't seen this before. So function composition is we're doing the same thing. We're putting something into a function, but this time instead of putting 3, instead of putting some kind of number, we're going to put another function, okay? So we can write this as f of g. These two, this and this, are equivalent. They're just written, they're the same thing. We're just writing it 2 different ways, okay? So f of g or f of g of x. This is how we would say it, okay? And then we can rewrite it. We can use it, put g first. We can say g of f or g of f of x. So example 1, we're going to use these 2 functions right here, this one and this one. So example 1, we're going to do f of g of x. I think the way to learn this is just to practice it several times, okay? So f of g of x. What this means is I'm going to start with my function f of x. So f of x equals 3x plus 1. And just like when I put 5 in, instead of writing x here, I'm going to use g of x. I'm going to use this function. So f of g of x, I'm going to do 3. Instead of writing x, I'm changing it to what g of x is, which is x squared plus 1. So all I've done is exchange this for g of x, which equals x squared, okay? Let's do it the other way. We have g of f of x, which equals, my g of x is x squared, so that means I'm doing something and I'm squaring it. But instead of writing x, I'm going to write f of x, which is 3x plus 1, okay? So instead of writing an x, instead of writing my variable, I'm using the other function in its place. So up here, instead of writing the variable, I used a number in its place. Now we're doing the same thing, except we're putting a function in its place. So let's try another one. Let's do 3x squared minus x plus 2. Okay, so this is h of x. And let's try doing g of h of x. So this means I'm going to take something and square it. My g of x says I'm taking a variable and I'm squaring it. So I'm going to plug in h of x. I'm putting h of x inside, so that means I'm going to do 3x squared minus x plus 2. Okay, so now let's try another one. Let's do h of g of x. Actually, I'm going to erase it and move it down so we have more room. Let's do h of g of x. So this means my input is now g of x, so my input is x squared. And I'm taking x squared and I'm plugging it into all of the x's of h of x. So I'm going to start out with my h of x. I have 3. Instead of x, I'm writing x squared. And in h of x, I'm squaring that first term. Then I have minus. Instead of x, I'm writing x squared and plus 2. Okay? I want to go ahead and try one more. I want to do f of h of x. Okay, so my input here is h of x. This is my input, and I'm plugging it in to my x values in f of x. So I have 3 times, instead of x, I'm writing h of x. So my h of x is 3x squared minus x plus 2. And then I still have plus 1 for f of x. Okay, so this is all we're going to cover today. There is an assignment posted, and I want you guys to pick 2 functions. Pick 4 functions, and I want you to compose them. So if you choose, let me scroll down here. If you choose, let's say we have g of x on here. Actually, you know what? Let me just give them to you. Let's just do this. These are the things I want you to do. This will make it a little bit easier. For y'all, since I'm not there to answer your questions immediately. Okay, so we're going to pick these 3 and also this one. Okay, so what I want you to do is do g of q of x. And so compose these 2, compose q of x inside of g. Do f of g of x. Do q of f of x. And do f of p of x. So do these 4 problems and take a picture of them or type them in a Google Doc, however you want to do it, and upload it. Just post it to that assignment that says function composition activity. So ignore the rules that I put on there. And do this and submit the picture.